Alrighty, so it's 7 o'clock on Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and I'll call the meeting to order for our Adelaide Metcalfe November meeting. It seems crazy how quick and how slow this year is going by and that we're already in November. Today's meeting, we have, it's going to be a little different format with some faces jumping on board, kind of similar to our planning meeting, as at 7:05 we have drainage consideration. And then also at 7:05, just right before that, we have a property standards committee request for an extension. So with that, before we get to those, do we have any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof from members of council? Seeing none. We have the minutes of the previous meeting, and those meetings are October 19th, October 20th, and October 22nd. Do we have a mover and seconder for those minutes? Councillor McKinnon and Deputy Mayor Hendricks. Is there any errors or omissions on those ones? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Alrighty, just because it's my understanding, Jennifer, that Alex Clark will not be joining us due to a family matter. So do you want to just jump right into that one to deal with that extension, and then that should bring us to 7:05.
Sure. So if council remembers back last May, the previous property owner came to the Property Standards Committee because there was a complaint filed in regards to the shape of the house. That property owner at that time requested an extension till December 31st, 2019, at which time then the new property owner, Alex Clark, has taken over since then. He's gone through a consent. The Committee of Adjustment has approved that consent. He's gone through, or is going to go through, a minor variance come December. And so the extension to the house was till November 1st, 2020. So he's asking for an extension to demolition the house that's there on that property at 27748 Kerwood Road until May 1st, 2021.
Okay, before I go to questions or comments from council, Jen, do we need to have that motion to open up that hearing?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we need a motion to resolve that council convene as the Property Standards Committee for the purpose of hearing property standards appeal for 27748 Kerwood Road be opened at 7:02 p.m. Moved by Councillor Brody, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? And that's carried. According to the minutes, Jen's about to say what she just said, and then we're going to move into comments and questions from council. Any discussion on this? Councillor Brody, no?
Well, they're going to tear the house down, so he just needs a little more time because he just bought it, so I can't see a problem.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're in the request was for May 1st, 2021?
Correct.
Okay, so you're moving that, Councillor Brody?
Yeah.
Okay, and do we have a seconder? Councillor McKinnon. There's no more discussion. All those in favor? And that's carried. And then that's everything for that. So we just need to have a motion now to resolve that the Property Standards Committee meeting be closed at 7:04 p.m. and council reconvene in regular session. I think I saw Councillor Brody's hand and Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor? And that's carried. Alrighty. So that should bring us to that 7:05 mark. And with that, we just need to have a motion to resolve that the drainage consideration meeting to review the engineer's report for the Nip Ball Drain 2020 be opened at 7:05. Councillor McKinnon and Councillor Brody, all those in favor? And that's carried. I think we have a few new squares. We're going to jump into this meeting here. And when that happens, I also want to welcome Andrew Neely to our Adelaide Metcalfe team. And that's through an agreement that we've made through Southwest Middlesex as our drainage superintendent. So welcome on board to Adelaide Metcalfe. As well, we have Mike DeVos here from Spreets Associates. So it looks like we have Tom Verkley. There we go. You can see you there. And Dave Ball. And are you both able to hear us and possibly see us? Excellent.
Yes.
Thumbs up. Dave Ball, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so before we continue on with the report for the drain, I just want to state that we're having this meeting virtual due to the declared emergency in order to keep everyone safe. We're taking this measure to stop the spread of COVID-19. And just to note, as obviously as you know, we're live on YouTube, so you will be recorded and it will be streamed online. And if everything goes as well as our previous planning meetings, Jennifer or Morgan or whoever's the host of this live broadcast, we won't have to shut that down. But if there's something that happens with our people joining us, we'll have to shut that down. But I'm sure, knowing the folks that have joined us, we're not going to have to do that. All right, so with that being said, I'm assuming, Andrew, would you like to go through? Oh, we lost somebody. We lost Tom. Did I scare him off?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, it looks like he's dropped off as an attendee.
Okay, well, hopefully he joins back in. We will wait a second or two before we have, Andrew, are you going to go through the report or make any comments, or is Mike going to take this one?
That's a good question. I can just give a quick intro and ultimately it's Mike's report. I think it's his.
Okay. Okay. How long do we want to wait until we continue on with it or without Tom?
Through you, Mayor Smith, we could probably continue on if Mike wants to give his report, and then hopefully Mr. Verkley is able to get back on in that meantime.
Okay. And have they seen the report already?
Yes, they were all mailed a copy.
Excellent. So if there is any questions at all, they should already have those figured out. Okay. So Mike, we'll have you go through the report then.
Thanks. This report was prepared in accordance with Section 78 of the Drainage Act for repair or improvement to an existing municipal drain. It currently consists of a tile drain heading from an outlet in an open ditch up across Lot 7, across the county road, and then up across part of Lot 8, or Lot 6, sorry. We were requested to replace the existing tile. It's been around for quite a while, and they felt that it should be replaced. The bottom end of the drain will have the tile physically destroyed, and then the next property, the Ball property, we would be abandoning the existing tile. It would become a private header pipe or header tile for the landowner, and the new municipal drain would be designed and function on its own as a full-size municipal drain. We would be putting catch basins, or we will be putting catch basins along fences and at the road to capture surface water, as the existing or the new design is bigger than the old design. So we're looking at putting in 12-inch diameter pipe and a bit of 10 at the top end with a new road crossing. And I'd stop and open up to questions.
All right. I'm just going to pull this back up here. So Tom or Dave, do you have any questions or comments at all? Concerns?
I missed that. My internet stopped working, so I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone now. So.
Okay. So Mike, he just went through the report, but it was my understanding that you've already received that report beforehand.
Yeah.
Excellent. So do you have any questions or concerns on the report?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Dave, do you have any questions or concerns at all? And if you said something, you're on mute, so I can't hear you. Still on mute.
On mute.
There we go.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay, the back page of the report is printed so small, it's very difficult to read. And that's probably the main part of the report as far as we're concerned. I wondered if there was, if that was a problem, or is that just something that happens?
Which page was that? Or Mike, do you know what he's talking about?
It's the main, it's the very back of the report I received. It shows the map of the watershed, and it shows the breakdown of the grades for the tile drain to go in, and it's printed in very, very small type.
Plan and profile, I think that's what you're
Yes.
referring to.
Yes, can you, is that correct?
That would
We can
normally
get you a
be,
big, sorry.
that would normally be larger. I don't know why you got a small one, but we can certainly get you one that's larger, that's readable.
Well, we managed with using a magnifying glass, but it was a little tricky. But that's really the nuts and bolts of the whole report, in my opinion. And so,
Yes,
no,
I
that's
agree.
other than that, the report, I'm sure, is quite complete. What about, is there a berm right at the outlet end as well? I thought there's a rock chute where it dumps into the open drain. Is there a berm there as well?
Yes, we had a discussion before submitting the report that you would prefer to have a catch basin with a berm rather than a stone chute.
Oh, I see.
So,
It's an either or.
yeah, I mean, and I'm open to changing it to a rock chute if you guys, believe that that's better. I would say it'd be more standard practice to put in a stone chute. But we have had requests from landowners to also use catch basin with a berm. So both will work and both are an option if you guys choose to do that.
Yeah, I was going for the catch basin and the berm because it makes it so you can't drive or walk along that creek anymore, Dave. We have a big ditch there.
Tom, I would suggest, you were cutting out there. Maybe turn your video off and then we'll just hear you.
How do I do that
And
on
then,
the phone?
Morgan or Greg?
Tom, you should just be able to tap the screen and it will be beside the mute button.
I'm on an iPhone now because my internet stopped working.
Yeah, it should be right beside that same mute button.
Okay, I stopped video. Okay.
Excellent. So say what you just said, because I don't think anybody heard it.
Okay, I suggested at that meeting that I would prefer the catch basin and a berm and then tile it and go into the side of the ditch without having a long, 15 feet of slope down to the creek. Because we have a path in there, 2 paths, and we had to mow through it. So it would kind of mess that up if we did that.
Okay. Okay, is there any other comments at all? Or Mike, would you like to address that at it?
Yes, I mean, like I said, both of those options work. Right now we are showing the berm with the catch basin. That's what we had discussed at the meeting. So, beyond that, that's accommodated.
Yep.
I think that would be fine. I'm quite satisfied with that. I was just wondering how that was put in, whether it's an either or, and I see that it is. So that's fine. Quite happy.
Okay. Is there any other questions or concerns at all?
There's a few typos. Now, I don't know how important it is for accuracy, but when it comes to the description of the properties, that one property that I have is lot 8 rather than lots. There's 2 west halves of lot 7, and one of them should be the west half of lot 8, which is the one on the bottom of the list there. Now, I don't know if that's just a typo. That's probably. It's on page 8, the one I'm referring to.
Okay. Mike, you'll make those corrections?
Maybe you could just make that description to me again, because I'm not seeing what you're seeing. So maybe
You see you on Schedule A allowances on page 8.
yes.
Okay, there's east half of lot 6, west half of lot 7, east half of lot 7, and west half, it should be, of lot 8. That should be the west quarter actually of lot 8. Going down that list.
Okay, so the 024 should be the, oops, sorry about that. The roll number 024 is the west half of lot 8.
Okay.
Is that correct?
West quarter of lot 8, really.
West quarter, okay. Yes, I see that.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions or comments from Dave or Tom?
Would the work sort of happen next summer? Or is that possible still?
Yes, it's hard for me to answer with certainty. Right now, I believe the way that the contractors are tendering, I would suggest yes, it should happen next year. Whether it would happen in the summer or later in the year, it's difficult to know. The contractors are not all have the same workload, so depending upon which contractor would be low, you may have one contractor that's ready to come, earlier in the year, and another contractor that's not. So I think it's safe to say that in 2021 it'll get constructed, but whether it's August, September, or November, I couldn't say for sure.
It just works out because it's wheat this year in my field, so that would be preferable. That's all.
All right. So if there's no other questions or comments, I'll ask if there's any questions or comments from any council member. I assume there isn't. All right. So with that, we just need to make a decision then, which according to the motions that I have in front of me, it's resolved that the engineer's report dated May 11th, 2020 for the repair to the nip ball drain 2020 be considered and adopted as presented by the drainage engineer. Okay, Deputy Mayor Hendricks, seconded by Councillor Brody. There's no discussion at all. All those in favor? Okay, and that is carried. Alrighty, so we just need the motion to resolve that the drainage consideration meeting to review the engineer's report for the nip ball drain 2020 be closed at, what time is it? It's not popping up. 7:18. Mover and seconder, Councillor Brody and Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor, and that's carried. And I don't know if Tom or Dave can still hear us, but thank you for joining us. They seem to be off the screen. Okay, thank you so much, Mike, for presenting that report. And Andrew, I don't see anything else on here for you, so thank you so much for joining us for your first Adelaide Metcalfe Council meeting.
I think Betty Ann has a question.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Just wanted to clarify through you, Mayor Curtis, to Mike. We're giving this first and second reading, and then we'll hold the court and give it the final reading. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, excellent. And thanks for the clarification on that one, Betty Ann. It's been a while since we've had a drainage report or a consideration or a quarter revision or anything like that. So it's a good refresher.
Not a problem.
All right, okay. And if you guys want, you can stick around, but it's not that exciting. But for our YouTube video, our viewers, it is exciting, and please stick around. Okay, let's move into the next item for our agenda, which is correspondence. Upcoming conferences, seminars, and meetings. Our next regular meeting will be on Monday, November 16th, followed by already December 7th, 2020, and then Monday, December 21st, and that'll wrap us up for our meetings for 2020. So we'll move into our recommended readings. The first one is from the Asaba Bayfield Conservation Authority, and it's the proposed 2021 budget and municipal levies. And if I read that correctly, I think they are decreasing for Adelaide Metcalfe. Did I see that correctly? So that's pretty exciting. Item number 2. Oh, am I cutting out?
No,
No,
Okay.
I just wanted to comment that we're decreasing less than some of our neighboring municipalities. And the last few years we've increased, and it's hardly material, but it is just a little bit. Other years we've increased slightly more than others. So I don't know when the last time we had somebody from a Sauble Bayfield out.
I don't remember the last time either. And now that we're holding council meetings on Zoom, it'd probably be an appropriate time to do that because it shouldn't take a lot of time out of their day. So either Morgan or Jen, you want to note that down and maybe we can have a presentation from them?
Yeah.
Great. So item number 2 is from St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, and it's their September meeting highlights. Item number 3 is from Blue Water Recycling. That's their October notes. Item number 4 is from AMO, and that is the Blue Box draft transition schedule, as well from Blue Water Recycling, the draft Blue Box regulations proposed. Item number 5 is from Enbridge, and it's the Ontario Energy Board notice of application. Item number 6 is from the Ministry of the Solicitor General, and it's the Court Security and Prisoner Transportation Program Review. Item number 7 is from SWIFT, and it's their news for October 2020. Item number 8 is from the Community Futures Middlesex, and it's their update for October. Item number 9 is the Insider from Roma for October. Item number 10, again from St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, and it's their proposed 2021 budget. Councillor McKinnon, do you want to make any notes on that one? I think, yeah, you sit on that board, so.
yes, through you, Mayor Curtis, to council. Yes, I can't relay that we've had a decrease similar to the Osabo Bay, but Osabo Bay has always been a higher levy than what St. Clair has, with only 30% of the township in the watershed, within the watershed. If you would like Brian or Tracy Prince, the treasurer for St. Clair, to attend a meeting similarly to Sauble Bay, I can request that of them.
Yeah, we may as well, if we're going to have one, we may as well have both of them.
Would you like it the same night, or would you like it on December 7th?
We'll let Morgan figure that one out. Depends on what else is on the agenda.
So I'll await Morgan's instructions then to invite them.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so the next one is item number 11, which is the 2021 OMPF. That's the letter to heads of council. And it looks like we will be receiving $435,600 in 2021 for the OMPF, which is, again, lower than the previous year. And Betty, and you've been on council longer than I have. What number do you remember when you first started on council?
It was in the 600s.
It was, it was 1 point something when I started, like 1.8 or 1.7 million.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, your memory's better than mine. But yes, it's gone down progressively every year.
Yeah. All right, so that is that for the recommended ratings. The action required, item number 12, is a resolution from the Township of Oro Medonte, and it's declare snow sports essential in stage 2. Any thoughts on this one? Councilor McKinnon?
I was for support on all 3 of the resolutions.
Okay, so we got a mover on this one. Do we have a seconder for support? Okay, Councilor Brody, is there any discussion on this? All those in favor? And that one's carried. Item number 13, a resolution from Northumberland County, and it's the review of the Municipal Elections Act, election fraud reporting and enforcement. Any
Oh.
thoughts on this one? I know Councillor McKinnon wants to support it.
Yep.
Seconder for support. Seconder Hendricks. You're seconding that? Yeah, okay. Any discussion at all? All those in favor? And that carried. And the last one there, resolution again from Northumberland, and it's the unauthorized car rallies.
Support.
Okay, do we have a seconder on this one? Alrighty, it looks like we're gonna file that one. I don't know where we have a few rallies around here, but that's okay. Mover and seconder to resolve that council receive and file correspondence items CC 1 to 11 and 14. Deputy Mayor Hendricks, seconded by Councillor Brody. All those in favor? And that's carried. All right, so we'll move into our staff reports. And our first one is from our fire chief, Chief Nordoff.
Thank you. So this is rather short. So it's on the naloxone program. So council will recall that at September 16, 2019, council approved to enter into a memorandum of understanding agreement with the Middlesex London Health Unit for naloxone distribution to the Adelaide Metcalfe Fire Department. And the fire department dispensed naloxone when needed for fire personnel and the public when needed. The MOU agreement was signed at that time and expires December 31st, 2020. So the fire department needs to continue dispensing naloxone when needed. Therefore, a new MOU agreement, which is attached, needs to be signed for 2021. There's no financial impact. And my recommendation is that staff complete a new MOU agreement with the MLHU and that council approve the continued dispensing of naloxone by the fire department when required.
Hey, thank you, Chief. Is there any questions or comments at all from council? Deputy Mayor Hendricks?
Yeah, I'm just, I guess, curious, how many of the fire department are trained and how often have you had to use it in the last year?
We are all trained to use it and we have not yet used it.
Well, that's good.
It is good, but never
You never
say
know.
never. Right.
All right, is there any other questions or comments at all? Seeing none. That's always the best when we're all trained to use something or to be able to perform something, but we don't need to use it, especially with this. So that's always good news. So we need to have a motion to receive that report. Councillor Brody, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor? And that's carried. And then the next one is to approve the memorandum of understanding or agreement. Councillor McKinnon and Deputy Mayor Hendricks. All those in favor? And that's carried. All right. Is there any questions at all for the chief? Okay, seeing none. Move into our next staff report, and that is from our Public Works Manager. And is Morgan or Jennifer taking this one? Jennifer.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. On behalf of the Public Works Manager, there was a tender that was put out for winter maintenance, and that's for the fire department parking lot and for the sidewalks throughout the township. The second page is the tender results that were received. One of the tenders received did not quote as per the instructions that were sent out with the tender. So as per the Public Works Manager, that one is not being accepted as the quoting instructions were not followed. So that leaves with Brad's Lawn Care at a cost of $350 plus HST per event for the Kerwood Fire Hall parking lot, $300 plus HST per event for the Kerwood sidewalks, and $250 plus HST per event for the Napperton and Pike area sidewalks.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Is there any questions at all from council? No? Okay, so we have the recommendation there. If you want to move her and seconder at all. Okay, Councillor, okay, Deputy Mayor Hendricks and Councillor Brody. Any discussion? I just want to, yeah, just make a comment. It's really too bad that the Total Landscaping did the quote per season. Be interesting to know, kind of looking at the end of this season, it'll be interesting to see what those dollar figures will be with Brad's Lawn Care. And maybe we'll just have to adjust that going forward for how we're going to do the quotation, because it really depends on the year with the snow, with the snowfall, as to whether or not it's best to do it per season or per event. Be interesting to figure that out. Okay, so that's moved and seconded, and for approval, all those in favor? And that's carried. And we also need to have that motion to receive that report as well. Okay, Councillor Brody and Councillor McKinnon, all those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, so our next staff reports are from Jennifer, our clerk and acting treasurer.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. My first report is just regarding, it's an update for council regarding the Amp It Up refresh. It's just an update. The province established an asset management planning regulation under Infrastructure for Jobs and Prosperity Act 2015 that required municipalities to prepare infrastructure asset management plans that align with the requirements of the regulation. The next milestone compliance is July 1st, 2021. The AMP It Up program was funded by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing and Municipal Finance Officers Association. And the AMP It Up 2.0 program is funded by the Ministry of Infrastructure and the MFOA, and it consists of 3 parts. So there's the 3 parts, Part A, Part B, and Part C. The Township of Adelaide Metcalfe participated in the AMP It Up 1.0 as part of a group of 93 municipalities, which ran from 2016 to 2018. And that was through the MFOA. The township was advised in mid-September that there was funding available to provide a refresh program for those municipalities that provided in the AMP It Up 1.0 program. And the refresh program runs for the period from October 2020 to March 2021. As that funding for that program expires in March. MFOA accepted registrations for the refresh program until October 9th. And the township did register for the additional funding due to the lack of asset management plan that the township has. Under this program, a consultant has been provided to the township from PSD, where all activities under the program will be required to be completed by March 15th, 2021. There's no cost to this. It's one of the few grants that we've received where there's no additional funding from the township that has to be put in. And we'll receive 20 hours of consultant work towards our asset management plan, where they'll review what we submitted back in 2016 and give us information. So I've been working along with Coulter on this. So this is just basically an FYI for council. And as soon as, hopefully in November, the timeline was November 2020, that the consultant would reach out to us to start going through the asset management plan.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Is there any questions at all? No? All right, so we needed to have a motion to receive that report. Okay, Deputy Mayor Hendricks and Councillor Brody, all those in favor? And that's carried. And then your next one there, which is the credit card policy amendment.
Yep. Thanks, Mayor Smith. So this is just an update from a request from I believe it was Councillor Clark at the time, just that we made an amendment to the credit card policy as requested so that the statements get paid on time. So if you look at the policy, what I've changed is highlighted in yellow. We've added a section that the treasurer shall follow up with each card holder for missing receipts or unusual transactions and shall pay the monthly statement on time as to not incur monthly interest. And any follow-up relating to unusual transactions shall be corrected. We've also changed that instead of waiting 14 days for receipts to be submitted by staff, that it be 5 days, because normally when staff does purchase something, there's a receipt that's given right away. And I don't see what the need is of waiting 14 days for that receipt to come in. The other thing you'll note within the report, we added a credit limit for the treasurer position, as that's about to be hired sometime right near future. So instead of dealing with that at a later time, I just included it now while we were dealing with the credit card policy.
Okay, excellent. Is there any questions at all? No? Okay, so we need to have a motion to receive that report. Okay, Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Brody. All those in favor? And that's carried. And then the second part is to approve the amendments for the credit card policy. Okay, Councillor Brody and Deputy Mayor Hendricks, all those in favor? And that's carried. And there we go. Okay, so with that we have, sorry, I was reading the chat that Greg was disappearing because we're on a regular council meeting now, so we don't need him to do all the background work. Okay, the next one is the accounts payable.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. My last report for tonight is the accounts payable listing. And sorry, my screen is frozen here. From October 14th to October 26th, in the amount of $686,205.32.
All right, is there any questions at all on the accounts? Okay, seeing none. We need to have a motion to resolve that council receive the invoice payment approval report as presented by the clerk acting treasurer, and the council approve the account listings for October 14th to October 26, 2020 in the amount of $686,205.32. Councilor McKinnon and Deputy Mayor Hendricks, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Is there anything for other business before we jump into the closed session? Sounds like, yeah, Deputy Mayor Hendricks.
Yeah, we've started receiving notices about the Roma conference in January. Are we just going to decide whether we want to go as per normal? In which case I would ask somebody to register me, or I register myself. It doesn't matter, but I am interested in attending the sessions.
Excellent. Who do we want to let? Who, I don't know. Are we going with Jennifer or Morgan, or who's going to kind of take that list?
I can do it as acting treasurer.
Okay.
So if anybody else off of council is interested, I can sign them up as well.
Excellent. I know that OGRA is also, they have their registration out as well. So all those will be popping up in the near future. So excellent. Is there anything else for other business? Okay, seeing none. So we need to have a motion that council hold a closed session meeting as provided per section 239(2)(a), (b), (c), (d), and F of the Municipal Act at 7:39. Mover and seconder for that. Okay, Councilor Brody and Deputy Mayor Hendricks, all those in favor? And that's carried. And we will join everybody back on YouTube once that's completed. And I'm not going to guess how long, because last time I guessed 30 minutes and it was almost